flight's worst enemy is somebody who likes being in control. Like, I love being in control, and when you're up there, you really got nothing. You have to just push through it. Why be afraid? You're just gonna limit yourself, you know? Or just take a lorazepam. That'll work 100%. Welcome to The Dive, the official podcast of Wavestream Media. I'm Cece.
And I'm Mark. We're the founders of Wavestream, and this is where we slow down, talk it out, and dive into stuff that deserves a little more airtime.
One topic, one story, or one person per episode, whether it's something we're building, something we're questioning, or something we just can't stop thinking about.
Let's dive in.
Another week, and we're talking about something I feel like very appropriate. And I feel like the reason we're talking about it is because it's something that you've been up to recently.
Yeah, and surprisingly so. So we're going to talk a little bit about travel this week, and I feel like I'm not like a particularly well-traveled person.
I don't think I am either. So this is maybe going to be a very short episode.
Maybe. Well, like it's interesting. The reason I was bringing it up is because I think it's like I would like to travel better in a way.
Okay.
You know, like I don't think I travel well. I think I am like, I'm like a piece of food that needs to be in the fridge.
I was about to say you're like a wedding cake or
that's a good way to put it.
Something very fragile.
Absolutely.
Glass.
Yes, I am porcelain to be sure.
Right.
But I guess we'll just let the audience know, so I actually ended up traveling down to Orlando this past weekend to go to a Kill Team tournament with one of my buddies. And it was at this big convention across from Universal Studios. And it was a great time. I got to hang out with a bunch of Florida men. They were awesome. It was so much fun. And, we had a great time at the tournament. But so I guess just to start with, like, I drove down there, which was...
Hate it.
I don't regret it, but I don't think I'm going to do it again anytime soon.
No, my best friend, she lived in Florida for a long time. I guess like she moved from North Carolina in 4th grade and lived in Florida until college, sophomore year of college. So she was there for a while. And I think my first time I went to go and visit her, we drove. And it was horrible. It's just not a fun, pleasant drive. And it's so long. I don't want to be in the car for an entire day. I just don't. And I hate it. I actually do. Funny enough, they live in Tennessee now. And I will drive to Tennessee. Tennessee's 5 hours for me. That's max. That's like absolute cap. No more than that will I drive in the car.
So my thought process going into it was I've done like a good bit of like traveling up towards like DC and Maryland this year. And DC is like 4.5 hours, 4 hours if there's like absolutely no traffic. And then like up towards Baltimore, like that was just under 5 hours. And to me, that didn't really feel that bad.
That's like the cutesy like road trip length. Like, we're going just far enough where it feels like we're really going somewhere, but not so far that it like ruins our entire like day.
Yeah. And man, it did kind of ruin my day. Like, oh man, that was just such a gnarly drive. Let me tell you. So
I recall somebody saying that before you left. I just want to interject with that. I recall somebody saying that's going to suck. I don't know who she is, but I bet she's really smart and pretty and interesting and cool.
Yeah. People should probably listen to her. She knows what she's talking about. Too. So let me tell you folks out there who have never driven from the Triangle in North Carolina down to Orlando, Florida, kind of what it's like. So you drive out of town on I-40 and you connect with 95, and that's maybe, like an hour's worth of driving. Not too bad. And then you drive on 95 for 6 hours down to Florida forever. Yeah. I mean, you take 95 pretty much the whole way. We spent maybe like an hour and a half on Highway 4 just to get into Orlando. But, driving south and through 95 in North Carolina, it was fine. Didn't look anything out of the ordinary, going through Fayetteville, Lumberton, familiar sights, we'll say. And then I got to South Carolina, and driving through South Carolina was probably it was one of the most boring experiences of my whole life. Like,
it is shocking how, like, to be so close to each other, literally touching, how different like South Carolina looks. Like, And it's not geographically, but it is that too. But like nature wise, like it looks completely different. Same with Tennessee too. It's like you can tell when you get into North Carolina, there's just a certain look that things have. It's weird.
Yeah, let's call it a brightness, because that's driving
a joy.
Through. Yes, joy. There was definitely not a lot. Well, there was some joy in South Carolina.
The low country.
Yeah, getting out of South Carolina, there was a lot of joy in that. But for really, it felt like I was in like one of those Scooby-Doo chase scenes for like 3 hours driving through South Carolina, where it was literally just the same thing, just scrolling by me the entire time. It felt like I didn't see any kind of like city or township or really anything the entire time.
Nope, there's not a lot to see.
There was south of the border, and then there was the Buc-ee's in Florence, and that was it for hours and hours and hours.
In March, I went to Savannah for my cousin's wedding, and we stopped at that Buc-ee's because I'd never been to a Buc-ee's, and it was so crowded. And I'm going to say it. People are going to hate me for it. People already love to hate me. What can I say? Let me give you some fodder. I don't get Buc-ee's. I don't get it. It's too big. If I need to go and stop somewhere to pee, like that's what we're doing here, people. Let's be real. Yeah. The bathroom shouldn't be such a long walk. Let me get in and get out.
Me and my buddy, we described it as a monument to man's hubris. It was
me realizing in this moment now that you have a Buc-ee's hat on too. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was, to me, it's just, there's definitely like a novelty to it, but
there is. I agree. I mean, it's like south of the border, but there's a bajillion of them and they're everywhere. And there's not as many rides and colors and like fun things to do. I guess.
No. And I'll be honest, I was upset. There was somebody like Bucky was walking around and folks were taking pictures with him. And I wish I stopped to get a picture with him.
If you'd stopped, somebody would have probably mowed you over. It's too chaotic in there.
It was absolutely wild how packed it was in there. Like, we stopped at another Buc-ee's, like when we were in Florida, kind of on the way back, and it was just like any other gas station. It was like going to Sheetz or whatever. Yeah, there's people in there, but it's not like quite as crazy.
That I could do. Maybe it's just the Florence one.
I think it is partly just the Florence one because it's like, the people like in Raleigh, like go down just to go to that Buc-ee's. Like literally they will drive. I guess the novelty. I don't know.
They put themselves through going to South Carolina just to go to the Buc-ee's.
I
kid you not. My family, we were like, this is too chaotic. We left. We drove up. We went to like a Love's. We were like, this is much more our speed.
Yeah. I mean, I guess some people are just gluttons for punishment, really.
So nothingness in South Carolina.
And then,
what else?
Georgia was fine. Georgia felt more like North Carolina. There's actually stuff on the road when you're driving through it.
Things to see, greenery.
The nicest thing I can say about South Carolina is that there was no traffic. Like from
you've seen it. No, I'm just kidding.
From the time I left Raleigh until the time I got into Florida, there was absolutely no traffic the whole way.
That's then
good. We got to Jacksonville and the traffic was it was so bad. It was gnarly. Bumper to bumper traffic. My mom has a fear of bridges. I drove over one of the biggest bridges I'd ever seen.
Bridges. Really? Yeah, that's crazy.
I was driving over that bridge and I was like, man, my mom would hate this.
Yeah. I love stuff like that, though. I love a good bridge. I'm ready for, that's like the highlight of the drive. To me, it makes the drive worth it. What have I been sitting in the car for, in this case, like 9 hours for?
Yeah.
If I don't get to see a fun bridge.
I did really enjoy the moments where I was like cresting some bridges and you can kind of like see that whole vista as you're, coming over the top of it.
Something gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, to me, those are the sorts of things I really enjoy about traveling. Seeing just nice, pretty nature and like cool things. And, like it was fun seeing, or like we didn't go to Universal or anything. We didn't have time or frankly the money to do it. But like, it was cool seeing Orlando, just like seeing a big and like different city compared to like, where we live. Raleigh's a plenty big city. So is Durham, but it's not, quite like a large metropolis in the same way that Orlando was when we drove through it.
Yeah, I think I went to Orlando, actually, funny enough, for that same friend's college orientation, where I was with her mom in the parents section of orientation, because I was just in Florida, and what else was I going to do? But I haven't spent a lot of time in Orlando. I didn't get to see a lot of Savannah either. I feel like a lot of times when I go to places and I have something to do, I don't actually get to see the place that I am going to, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I've been to Orlando, like, 2 or 3 times, but I don't think I've ever really gotten to experience what it's like there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's kind of like the way that I travel is like I'm traveling somewhere to do something. I'm not just going somewhere just for the hell of it. I'm not going somewhere just to kind of like, see the sights. I mean, 9 times out of 10, sure. Like sometimes I'll go and do stuff like that, but usually I'm going somewhere to do something.
Yeah, I think I do too, because I think if I don't have anything to do, I would rather be at home.
Yeah, I love doing nothing at home.
Yeah, all of my stuff's here. I can do anything that I want. I think that, like, I will travel, like you said, for stuff, and maybe I'll go to the beach like once a year, maybe twice if I'm feeling insane. But like beyond that, I'm a home person, which you can call me whatever you want. You say I'm boring. My friends have, but I just like being at home. Like, I picked living here for a reason. I like it.
Yeah, I pay all this money on rent. I want to get my money's worth.
Right. What am I paying for if I'm not going to sit around and enjoy it?
Well, there's 2 things on my mind in terms of like, what do I need to do, I think, in order to travel better, right? How do I shatter this porcelain, box that I have put myself in?
Right.
And really just like enjoy traveling more. And the number one thing is I've got a lot of anxiety about flying.
So medication.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, so the first time I was on a plane, I was like, I don't know, 8, maybe 10. We went to Disney World. I don't really remember anything about that flight. It seemed fine. My mom gave me bubble gum because it helped my ears not pop. And the last time I was on a plane, I went to actually, I did some flying in my early 20s, and none of those flights were really bad. But like the last time I was on a plane, I was coming back from Salt Lake City. I had just been there like snowboarding for a week. And I was just in like the worst turbulence on the way back that I'd like ever been in. It was a red eye flight. And it was like just absolutely like crazy turbulence, and like multiple times just like all of the lights came on. And like those red eye flights, they turn all the lights off. Like all of the lights came on, and when that happened, I was just like, I guess this is it. This is where I die.
Right.
This is the end, folks. And so ever since then, I've been like, I don't really know. I took like a flight to New York since then and just felt super anxious the whole time. And that's like one of the easiest flights from Raleigh. It's like an hour and 15 minutes from here to New York by plane.
Yeah, it's, I think, about that to Orlando, too. An hour and a half, depending on the wind.
Yeah, roughly.
And
that's
short.
Like, I had such a good time at my trip to Orlando, and I'm definitely like hoping to go down there for more Kill Team events, but I can't drive that far anymore. No. I've got to fly.
No. And I think you can't let one bad flight ruin your flying experience, although I do understand. I think it can be really stressful. The biggest thing, the flight's worst enemy is somebody who likes being in control. Like, I love being in control, and when you're out there, you really got nothing. Like, whether it be actually being in the air or like getting into the air in the first place. Like, I was stuck in Atlanta back in May on like waiting to taxi for like 2 hours, and like I can't get off. I can't make us go faster. That sucked too. But you have to just push through it. Why be afraid? You're just gonna limit yourself, or just take a lorazepam. That'll work 100%.
Yeah. I mean, multiple people have given me that advice where I should probably go and like talk with my doctor and tell them that this has been like such a big problem for me.
Yeah, that'll solve it immediately. You can't be afraid if you're asleep.
Very good point. Yeah. I mean, the other thing too is it's just like, it is so interesting because I was like playing a game with somebody who was like an actual airline pilot while I was down in Florida. And I told him the same thing. And he was just like, literally we spend like all of our time training for the worst case scenario, and it never happens. But, we're always extremely prepared for when bad things do happen on the plane. Right.
Yeah.
And he was telling me that like he in like all of his pilot friends were talking about, all the bad press that like, airlines have gotten since like, it's been kind of a high number of like, airline incidents this year. And he said like pretty much all of them were just like freak accidents,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And honestly, what is the thing that people say? It's like safer to be on a plane than it is to be in a car.
Yeah. You're much more likely to die in a car accident than you are in an airline accident.
Yeah. And that we do that every day. So.
Yeah. But, to your earlier point, it's like I'm in control when I'm driving. Like I'm locked in. I'm not worried about it because I know I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to, take my eyes off the road or get distracted. And, obviously you have no control over the other drivers, but I'm also confident in my ability to react.
Right. You have to just be that confident in the pilot. Have you watched the rehearsal season with Nathan Fielder and the
it was incredible.
Pilots?
It was so good.
It was so good. Maybe now you shouldn't be afraid because all of the pilots are talking to each other.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. And, I think the thing that the pilot who I was talking to was saying is like, you can like just go and talk to the pilot. Like when you're getting on the plane, you can like stop and talk to the pilot. I think he was talking about how I don't think he was a Delta pilot, but he was like, if you go and talk to the Delta pilot, they will like give you like trading cards that like have like information about like their planes and stuff on them.
Mm-hmm. You can be like, hi, sir, I'm scared. Can you make me not scared to be on the plane? Yeah. I mean, that's cool. They do that at not cards, but something like that at Disney. Speaking of Orlando, like they give out like little pins, these like random people. I remember when I was there with my brother, I think my brother was like, how old was I? I was like 11. He was probably like 2 or yeah, probably about 2. And I was standing with him in the stroller. I think my parents had gone to like, I don't know, to the bathroom, get something, whatever. And somebody came, I still have it. They gave me this Tinkerbell pin and they were like, you're doing such a good job as a big sister. Here's an award. Like they just give those out to people there. And like, that's a real thing. It wasn't just a rando. It was like a Disney employee. I was like, this is kind of sick.
Yeah,
there are more
awesome.
awards in life. It's like being in a video game. It's like plus
achievement
1.
Unlocked. Yeah. So when you were in Disney, what would like if you were in Disney when you were like 11-ish, what was like the Disney character that you were just so excited to see, like wanted to get their autograph, whatever, your picture taken with them?
I don't think any of them.
None of them?
No, I don't think I actually saw a Disney character or got my picture taken with one of them. I like Disney. I don't love Disney. Like I've never been particularly obsessed with that. I feel like I don't know, as a very mature child where I was like, I'm 11,
yeah, I
I'm
could
grown, see that. And I was never like super obsessed with anyone. I will say, I guess my favorite Disney princess is Ariel, but I didn't see her. I don't know where she was, but yeah, I've never been particularly into a lot of animated things really, even as a kid. So.
Oh, I love animated stuff. I'm definitely not like a Disney adult, but when I was a kid, I was so excited to meet Donald Duck, and I got to meet him on like the very last day when I was in Disney. It was so great.
Yeah, it was like all of this time we've been working for this moment here, me and Donald together, finally.
Yeah, besties.
Yeah, I just wanted to ride the roller coasters. I think I rode Space Mountain like 3 times.
Yeah.
I love that.
And maybe this is just kind of speaking to the earlier point is like, I don't really do roller coasters. I like having both feet on the ground.
I respect that if that's what you want, but it's going to take you a million years. You like what?
There was like this Buzz Lightyear ride where you were like, it's like not a roller coaster, but kind of like one, and it's you're like playing laser tag.
Yeah, I did do that.
That one was cool. There was like a Pirates of the Caribbean thing, and it was like a roller coaster, but it's like small and not like a bunch of up and down type shit, right?
I will say, back to your Disney point, if I could meet any character, they're not even at Disney, not the ones that I want to see. The Country Bears, the 2002 film with the people in the bear costumes. That's what I want to see. And they have the Country Bears, but they're like the old Country Bears. The Jamboree is not the same thing as the film that has the Eagles and Elton John in it. It's just not. I'm obsessed. I love that movie. I own it still. I have a tattoo of that movie. I just love it. Yeah, it's so good.
I think like now, if I was gonna like keep my fingers crossed, try and meet somebody, probably Shrek. Go meet Shrek somewhere.
Classic. Cool. Classic. Yeah, I haven't been to Disney again since I was 11. I probably won't, honestly. Just like the Buc-ee's, I don't like places with a bajillion people in a big crowd that I have to wade through if I can avoid it. I would just
standing in line is just the worst too.
Yeah, be at home doing something else.
Yeah.
So, I haven't been to Florida, I guess, probably, I don't know, since she moved like 10 years ago. I pretty much just go back and forth from Tennessee now, and I always drive. I did go to DC recently, but I was like, my brother was flying. I think he was going to Vegas. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I've never been to the West Coast. And I was like, yes, I have. I've even been to Vegas. I'd been to Vegas and Colorado and Washington and Oregon and California, and I'd just forgotten. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I just out of my head completely. But
well, I guess the next thing on my mind in terms of just like stuff that I need to do in order to be like, to travel better is I just like don't sleep well in hotel rooms.
I can understand that.
At first, I thought it was just because I'm like a freak and like I have to sleep in like a very specific way. Like, I don't know what your pillow situation is like, but for me, I've got like minimum like 4 or 5 pillows.
I have 6. That actually makes me feel better because my family thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah, because I've got like the base pillow and then like I have like the lean-to pillow that, I kind of one arm hooked through so that my arm doesn't fall asleep. Then I've got the cuddle pillow. I've got the knee pillow.
You've got to have them.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean,
if you sleep without them, it's like impossible.
Exactly. And that's the bare minimum, Mm-hmm. But even after getting my pillow situation updated, I think that, like if I get all of those pillows at the hotel, I still don't always sleep super well in those beds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. When I was a kid, I used to like want to have sleepovers places, but like 50% of the time it'd be 2:00 in the morning and I didn't have my setup to sleep like I liked. And I would be like, come get me. I can't go to sleep here. And I'm tired. I need to go home, go to bed. And I think to a degree, I mean, that can continue when you're an adult in a hotel and be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it might just be like a suck it up type thing too. It could be anything. I think part of it too is just like those air conditioners in hotels are super, super loud.
Oh, see, I love that. I love little noise in the background. I think once you just like stop caring, like if you get so tired, you don't care, like you're fine. I don't think I ever sleep as well in a hotel or like in a guest room as I do like at my own house. Yeah. But you can fall asleep to the sound of the roar of the AC. I kind of like her.
Are you a fan-on person, like when you're sleeping at home?
No, because I don't have a fan.
Nice.
Yep, I don't have one. I should buy them, but I don't have one. I have a humidifier, which people sometimes think is crazy because they think that you need a dehumidifier, but no, I want to stay youthful, so I have a humidifier that's going, and that makes a little like humming noise. I had a sound machine, but when I moved, I don't know if it made it with me or not. So I like a little background noise,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I usually put like, I got the white noise machine on in my room. Sometimes I also I have an air purifier in my room. And so I use that to kind of like help keep a little bit of, white noise going on in the background. Keep the mold out of my nose while I'm sleeping. So
yeah, that's kind of the same though as the AC. It's just not your sounds that you were used to, which makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think maybe I just got to toughen up, And I guess the other thing is it's probably just like a repetition type thing, right? You just got to do it more and more to get better at it.
Well, did you have your own hotel room or were you sharing with somebody else?
This time, so in Orlando, I actually slept pretty good in Orlando. And I was sharing a room in Orlando. My roommate for the weekend snored like a chainsaw. It was. I think it.
And you still slept?
Yeah. Well, I had the earplugs in.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the hardest part of if you're going to stay in a hotel, if you have somebody else who's in the room with you that just a friend or something, or God forbid, your parents. One time, me, this was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was my parents, my brother, and me in a hotel room, and it was freezing, and we were there to cut down a Christmas tree. It was like the Griswolds, and it was horrible. And my stepdad snored, and my brother was like flailing around while he was sleeping all up in my space. I was like, somebody please get me out of here. So like the other people in the room can really make a big difference.
I need to be like investigator when I get into these hotel rooms, because the last time before this trip, the last trip I was on, I was in DC, and I fell asleep right away, and then I woke up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, why the fuck did I wake up? And I looked at the AC, and it was like 78 degrees.
Oh,
like it just wasn't even on.
Not horrible.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did when I got to Orlando. Is I was like, okay, what's the thermostat set to? And it was set to 65. And I was like, let's turn it down to 62. Turn it up later if we need to.
Yes, let's make it freezing in here.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be mission number one for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do think that I am getting better at that. Like I said, I slept, surprisingly pretty well in Orlando. I think I woke up in the middle of the night once, but I was able to fall back asleep in relatively short order.
Well, you've been doing a lot of traveling recently. You were saying, that you think in order to get used to it, you just have to practice. But it seems like you're practicing.
I got another trip coming up too.
Yeah. Busy. You're booked and busy. Everybody wants to hear from Mark.
I'll tell you this, because I am going to make a conscious effort to get over this fear of the plane. Mm-hmm. But I am really excited so I'm going to New York in October, and I'm going to take the Amtrak train up there.
That is really fun.
When I was a kid, I thought trains were so cool, and it'll be fun to sort of just have that moment as an adult where I was like, either A, what was the big deal? Like, apart from Thomas, what made trains so cool? Mm-hmm. Or I could have that moment where I'm just like, this is it. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I've never gotten to go on a train, so I'm quite jealous, which, I mean, I lived like 6 blocks away from the train station, and I have no idea why. I've never gotten on one.
Mm-hmm.
But it does seem like a fun experience. I think, so I'm going to Tennessee in October, and then the weekend, I'm actually going to Tennessee twice. This is going to be a whole lot. But the way it worked out, I'll be in Tennessee for a weekend, and then I have to come back and go to school, and then I have to go back to Tennessee again for something else in a different part of Tennessee, and then I'll come back, and then I have to go to Charlotte. So maybe we can take the train to Charlotte, because Lord knows by that point, I will have had cars, I will have had planes. Let's throw a train in there.
I've heard the train ride to Charlotte's actually really nice, too.
Mm-hmm. Me too. And that would just be it'd be a fun time to test it out.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. I might be going to Charlotte in a couple of weeks. There's a concert I wanted to go to. We'll see if I have the energy to do it.
Uh-huh. Right. I bet you're exhausted. That's the other part about traveling that people don't talk about is I know when you get home, you're tired.
Yeah.
Don't act like you're just going back to normal. I know you're tired when you've gotten home.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was shocking to me how exhausting it was just sitting in the car all day, doing absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And, that trip when I was in New York, I mean, like I said, it's a short flight, but you're spending all this time, packing up, getting ready, running to the airport, getting through security. You get to New York and you're on the train, connect to the subway, get to your hotel. Yeah.
That is just, so
it's a lot.
Yeah. It was the New York part, especially, it's you get there, you get to the airport, then you still have so much more traveling to do from the airport. And it's okay, you can get on the subway, or guess what? You can also get a taxi. Oh, that would be great. I'd love somebody to drive me. That's $10 million, please. That part is so tough. The traveling, once you are I'm finally here after all this time, you're not.
Right.
The adventure's just beginning.
Anything else on your mind as we're wrapping up the travel chat?
So I didn't get my passport until last fall because, I had no reason for one, because I didn't really have the means or the methods or necessity to go to another country. But I did get it just in case, You never know when you might need to just get out of town.
Absolutely.
So next year, though, I am excited. I do get to go to Scotland. So
Ooh.
I will be so excited to tell everybody about that when that time comes. About this time next year, actually.
I need to use that as motivation because I have never been traveling internationally. I have my passport now and I want to go. And I think I just need to start doing more travel in domestically to kind of,
Work
get
your
those
way
reps, build the confidence so that I can
Because that
become.
flight is like being in the car.
Oh, yeah.
It's long, but at least you can watch something.
For me, like one of my dream vacations is like, I'd love to go to Japan. Obviously the food's really great, but they have like some of the highest natural snowfall totals in the world. And like snowboarding is crazy over there in like the northernmost part of Japan.
Well, I would have never known. I would like to go just to see it because I think it'll be fun. I don't want to go snowboarding. I've never been. I don't think it's for me. I'm going to put that out there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Some people like to have both feet on the ground.
Some people do. And we are those people. That's it for this dive. Thanks for being here. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at wavestream.media. And if you want a podcast like this one or totally not like this one, visit our website, wavestream.media. Talk soon.